Hey, what's going on? Great to see you. Everybody, feeling well. What's going on? David, Daniel, Victoria, Darwin, Nico. What are we frozen? Huh? Let's go. Everybody, come on in, settle in, hit like, subscribe. We're here Tuesday, Thursday, 12:30-ish, 12-ish, somewhere around there, depending on how my day's going. And, oh, 1 second. Let me make sure we're all set up. Folks, go get Harmonic Pattern Collection. You know the deal. Send your TradingView username to hpc at sr-analyst.com. Okay, levels are much better now. I don't know why that happens. Get over to harmonictrader.com and then send your TradingView username to hpc at sr-analyst.com. We're going to do, I think we'll do a promotion on Thursday. So get the program. I'll give away some super discounted chances for you guys to get on with the software. And then probably about 2 weeks, I think we're due for another monthly kind of super session. So I've been thinking about, what to be focusing on. We haven't had a hell of a lot go on this year. Not yet, but we'll get to it. NASDAQ right now, folks, what? Down 90. We were down 250. Super chop. And just so you're aware of this zone and wondering why trading has not been too exciting, is we've just simply been stuck where we were back in August. So you're going all the way back to that August high. We've kind of retesting that around 24 and stuck in this range, 24 to 26. I'm not too concerned, and I'm looking for opportunities. I think what has to happen is this digestion phase, much like what we went through last year, and we'll see if we can get a clean oversold signal. Not there yet. Still trending lower. The only thing I'm looking at this week, we're going to take out last week's lows, prior lows from December to trigger something larger. We'll see about that. What's going on, chat? Come on in. Settle in. Yeah. I want to talk about some of the things that, for me, or maybe the secret strategies today of what turns a harmonic pattern into a real trade opportunity. There's been a few things we've looked at. Some things have worked out, others didn't. We'll get into that today and take your requests. Big shout out to Mitch Ray over in Europe, having a great trip, man. I've been following Mitch on his trip, and looks like a lot of fun, brother. Go live it up, man. These are the days. Absolutely. Really kind of enjoying living vicariously through Mitch, at least in the cold weather. I don't do cold weather, but looks beautiful. Everybody else, hope you guys are doing well. Had a good long weekend. I took some time and just kind of regrouping. I was getting really crispy towards the end of last week. I was just kind of like, I need to stop looking at the screen for a couple of days, which I did. So we'll get into some new ideas right now. S&P, really just kind of boring. Market's been, really not doing much, but that doesn't mean we're not due for some kind of bigger swing move. Just there's the last few months so far this year. Not a heck of a lot. Was talking to my crew just a minute ago in our gold session. Just kind of thinking maybe we do an 886 off in November. Come back, retest this larger zone. I don't think that's crazy. There's not a heck of a lot else. Too much that's concerning me. The only things I'm seeing that are doing major corrections are things that had huge moves last year, and now they're retracing. Silver, gold, some of the nuclear stocks, some of them here, like NNE is a perfect one, all the way back down. That was 50, now 25. again, you get these kind of big swings. This is coming back. NNE, nano nuclear, doing full retrace. I'd say like $20. All right. A lot of these that got crazy towards the end of the year, unsustainable, perfect type 1, shark to 50, but it's deciding to go lower. SMR, and as much as these are individual opportunities unto themselves, they are also examples of the high flyers from last year coming all the way back, doing the reset, retest. And SMR, New Scale Power, is another one where it's got this looping retrace 1232. So a bunch of these setting up, but not there quite yet. Silver, gold, guys. I think silver and gold going to want to come back and retest the recent lows from January. That's about it. They are certainly at big levels. What do we want to see down here? A little more work. Retest the low, start stabilizing. Silver futures, that's probably more like $65. And I was saying last week that I thought it's not a problem. It's just that we're in this probably larger zone where 80, a touch above 80 is resistance, 60 is the support. Okay, and that's definitely I think possible here as we get out of February. Don't forget all-time charts. Okay, silver SLV is probably the better instrument, although that's like a $5 difference between $7 difference between the futures and SLV ETF price. But it's this. Okay, in the SLV case, we hit the 2618 and it's was almost, I think, perfect. Like there, 2618 was like 110. And so now where are we? Well, your 382, which wasn't a surprise, was like 72, $71. This has probably got more of the 50% retrace on it and wouldn't be anything. And I would even think this is probably setting up more towards 50% 618 level, which is like 48. That's how you get to $60 on the futures. So it was a great move. You're going to give half of it back, and then we'll wait for that confirmation. I mean, again, even SLV itself still coming off of some bearish confirmation. Longer term, okay, I don't think there's anything to worry about. Actually, longer term, where's the next continuation spot? Much like what we had, where is it, on the daily? Okay, we're looking for arrow dot. That's our HSI proprietary signal. And that's not what I wanted to do. Let's go here. Sorry. Silver. Hold on. SLV. The last, how many times? 3, 4 times the last couple of years? Check out all these instances. So you want to get long silver. You're bullish on silver. I'm bullish on silver. I think we got a long way to go. I mean, we went crazy. Unsustainable move. You went November, $40 to 120. That's a triple in 3 months. You're going to hit a correction. Here's the first spot since that peak. And we have the check back from Friday last week. We'll need 1 or 2 green candles. And then we can begin starting to add to longs or re-enter longs, much like there and there. You go back to November, August, and then even these signals all the way back a year ago. It's really about sizing up the exact area where the dot is printed. What is the dot? To me, the dot is the divergence. It's the last move before you get that acceleration. So retrace, stabilize, retest that area, which is like 68 on SLV, and then give me a dot. 2 more days. 2 more bullish candles. So just be aware of that. I like the gold trade. I like the silver trade. They had a hell of a move. And now let's just be there, ready to pounce. SLV, like I said, oh, not like that. Hold on. SLV, DAC at 60, 62 minimum. Just let it come in. We're going to get that continuation. And then here's something that I want to share with everybody. I know I've said this many times, but this is one of the reasons why, one, you get the software, and two, we follow along on these sessions, because we're looking for the signals of where true acceleration can begin. And for me, that's always going to be a plus minus 50 on HSI. What was the last overbought, oversold extreme? Was oversold down here. That sets us up early, okay? Acceleration, meaning this whole turnaround can't even be anticipated until we get above the 50. So it's like there. Be aware. That's HSI. It's proprietary indicator. All right. It's based off of RSI, but I think it's optimized with harmonic metrics on it that basically improve how to read it. It's a leading indicator. Last time we had that situation where, look, we got oversold, we popped out, there we cracked the 50. At the 50 point there is when we start looking for that continuation. So when was that? Look, we bottomed. That was October, and then by second week of November, end of the first week, we were moving. Go to the chart. Where was that? There's your dot. Okay, we broke out of the 50. There, we had a dot and a 50 breakout. That's how we pinpoint those inflection areas for important moves. Most of the markets are not there yet, and I'll get into that in a second, especially with crypto or just Bitcoin. I mean, I don't even know if I'm going to talk about other crypto. I think I put that to rest last week. Regardless of the market, these are the consistent readings we're looking for. For me, that's a trend shift. Okay, it's a character shift. When you do that, you get oversold, you put in a dot, you break above the 50, and then that's where you can anticipate acceleration. It definitely helps. Okay, when amplified, our RSI indicator moves in tandem. Where are we now? We're going down. We're under the 50. We're not there yet. So again, the way to simply read that, get an idea of direction at a minimum. And there's a lot of things. Look, you can look at the market a million different ways. Is it up or down? I mean, you need to be able to, whatever you're going to use to assess the market, is it up or down? Right now, I look at HSI, no patterns, no nothing. I'm seeing this. Well, it's still lower. Okay, and we're not above the 50 yet here. I mean, where did that last shift occur? You go back, I mean, incredibly, was the very end of January where the breakdown happened. We were out of the zone all the way up here. We were overbought up at the major levels, that major 2618, and then we came out of the 50 level the following week. So we're still lower, guys. Just to really simplify it, without any patterns, HSI on its own, overbought, oversold. We're overbought, still retracing to fix that condition. Wake me up when we're back above the 50. That's a really easy strategy that's going to put you in the right areas. Okay, just align yourself with that condition. SLV there. Okay, great. GLD or gold. I mean, gold's under 5K today, down like what, 170? No biggie. Why? Well, where's HSI on the daily? Still under the 50, rolled under. So look at it this way. We got overbought all the way here, but we really aren't retracing until we crack the 50, which again, end of January. Where were we? Up there. Big candle breakdown. Okay. We came out of that zone. We tested that zone, came out on that week there. I'm going to look at, see GLD. Well, I'll get to futures here in a second. I still believe that gold is on a long-term uptrend. Okay. And much like what we had back in October, fairly sizable. You know, people forget we were like 4,500 and then we cracked under 4,000 for a minute before the bigger run. I think this is the same kind of a deal, but we need to get oversold. At least back in October on that retrace, we had some oversold readings. We don't have that yet on gold futures. So let that come in. And what are the possibilities? Like where do we jump back on the gold trade? Because we do know that it's at a massive inflection. It hit the all-time 3618, if you recall. It's like that off the all-time from, what was that, 1980 high down to the 99 2001 low. All right. That's a 3618 at 5,500. It looks like this. Pretty incredible, by the way. But there, 3618 was like right there. 5,400-ish. So let's do a 382. I mean, structurally measured, that's like 3,800. That would be a massive minimum retrace. And I'm going to line that up and I'll say, all right, give me a daily, give me a weekly, something in that range where we can at least get down there. If that's 4,800 currently, we know that the daily, the weekly, none of this is even ready or even close to triggering. I guess the last one you did have here, which was back in December, back at 4,300. This does not change though, and I want to be clear. I feel like what happened was crazy. All right, you go from there to there, but you know, you go from down here like 4,000 to 5,500 in a heartbeat. But the underlying condition of this being on a multi-year uptrend, it continues. We're not shying away from the fact that, look, longer term, the gold trade had a big super cycle move. Now let's do the retrace and then begin it again. Take it higher again. I'm not afraid of 170 down. I'm not afraid of 4,800. In fact, I'm wondering if we get to 4K, is that the bottom, the big bottom low? A lot of considerations here. Don't be dismissive. Okay, we have all the things we need for a retrace in gold. We need some triggers. We need some really clear triggers to generate that next continuation point. I'm not there yet. Okay, 4-hour chart. So, you know, the 4-hour chart's this. And I thought this was interesting. You know, we have a crab pattern on the 4-hour. It is by definition a type 1. So that brings us more like 45.65. Looking for something like that. But again, gold, silver, I think it's like the cat's out of the bag. kind of thing for the decade, if you will, or into the rest of the decade. Did the big move. It's telling you, hey, I've got serious potential to do amazing things, or give me the next spot where we can continue. We've had on the 4 hour chart every HSI signal, really go back to last year, was a continuation point. So that's why I'm not getting, I'm not being dismissive and saying that's it on gold. For currently, right now, GLD, roughly around 443, somewhere there, in the same way where we had early January, 396, back to November, 375. You guys get the picture. Down here, 360, and then multiple readings, 307. Look, the GLD is going to be one of those assets that is just in a permanent uptrend. I'm going to say it that way. It's a permanent uptrend. So we're looking for those larger oversold conditions to jump on, accumulate, and ride. Continue to ride. I'm not crazy even to make this assumption. In the same way that our last little correction, what did that do? 1618, all the way up. What was that? 314, almost not quite 3618, but I'll take the 314. It went extreme. I wouldn't be surprised. Let's see this bottom out down here. Okay, maximum, yeah, maybe 4K, but we'll know in a few days. Where what you should be thinking here is, can we bottom out in this 440, 430 area and then start the next 1618? That's how it's been going. That's how it will continue to go. So look at today as, getting closer to an opportunity. Let me tell you something that's not in an opportunity. And I'm not going to spend much time on it other than kind of outlining the obvious on Bitcoin, that this is not in an uptrend. All right? Not in an uptrend. And we're continuing to get signals on the 4 hour chart of, and folks, this is why, in terms of the software, you need the software, because HSI proprietary signal shows us time and time again overbought, and we said that last time at 97 that was potentially a powerful continuation. Lower dots here, lower arrow, lower arrow, lower arrow, and a dot. All of this is the construction of a downtrend that has yet to even come close to finding a bottom, and I'm going to kind of line it up like this, that where we are at the moment says not only 66, but I'm thinking this whole area, it's like 63 to 66, 64 to 66 is going to get tested this week. And then we're going to see. I think everybody is definitely going to basically jump ship once we crack 60. You're going to crack 60, and there's going to be nothing but air down there. And that just, it doesn't surprise us. All right, we know the deal. And this is our plan. This is my plan. I don't want to completely shitpost on Bitcoin without, letting you know that the objective is 786. And we will do stuff at the 786. Last 786 was here. You go back to 2022. That hit first week of June. But we did not bottom and turn around until October. I'm thinking that's what we're doing currently. That the bulk of this move is going to happen by June. 786 is, I did want to say this too. So depending on the data feed, okay, the 786 starts from the prior cycle low. All right, you don't go all-time low. We're talking cycle low to cycle high. All right, which is there depending on the feed. Some is like 15.8, others are like 15.2. You know, this one is the all-time index, and I think that's a good one to use. That's like 15.470, and this one to the high was 126.220, and we're doing a 78.6% retrace of that distance. I've been saying 39K because I think I was on either Coinbase or Binance, which had a slightly smaller range, and so 39K is that's I'm going to say it right now. It's probably more of an approximation, and on data feeds like this, it's more like 36K, but it's under 40. Certainly under 40. And I don't know why people are not happy when I say that, but you know, I'm also very frustrated by just the amount of influencer garbage that says, okay, the bottom's in. And how many times have you seen that, heard that in the last week? Oh, bottom's in. We hit just because we hit 60K, and there's zero here, guys. Let's be clear. The objective will be this for Bitcoin. And I'm going to kind of highlight also why we're still in a downtrend or not even close. We're going to hit the 786 level. And that's, like I said, it's probably more like 36K. But I'll stay with 39K because it's under 40K. And I think we'd flush pretty hard if we got down that low. We will hit it. We will put in an HSI. And then we'll look for the turnaround. According to the cycle chart date, hold on, let me bring that up. That other crazy chart. Let me bring this up. So we have this precedent as well of the cycle dates. And the cycle dates basically point to where this thing should bottom out in October. And right around the 6th, in the same way that a lot of people called the top. Exactly to the day, October 6th. Hold on, let me bring that up. Yeah. Where's those cycle dates? Hold on. Bring that up in a second. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Well, here's a couple good charts. Where's my cycle dates? Bear with me. All right, here you go. All right, so I came across this and posted this October 7th. And this has ended up being the exact high. So October 7th, we had this, and there was a new one that was updated that basically projected out the current year to October. You go to October 5th of this year, 364 days. This worked out. The only thing that we've done is that, you know, you can add to this cycle are the 786 retracements. So whether we hit that in June or October, there will be kind of a sequence of triggers I'll look for. Like, we want to get long Bitcoin. You want to believe in Bitcoin. It's got to be at the right price. It has to be, or you're just going to go in there blindly bullish and go through a hell of a lot of drawdown. If we get to the 786 retracement and it's October, okay, then that's probably about it. What I think is going to happen here, we're going to do this capitulation much like we did in 2022 and then have a few months of stabilization. This is going to be our strategy for Bitcoin. Okay, we get down there, we hit the 786, then we're going to monitor HSI like this. Look at HSI. Remember, okay, HSI hit the 786, and entered into the oversold in HSI all in the same week. All right, that together, that was the starting point. That was there. Could have bought there. Sure, you would have gone through a little overspill, you know, somewhere a few thousand lower. But where was the real acceleration? Remember, one of the secrets, really helpful with HSI, and bring a pattern into it. You know you got something looking left. Get above the 50. Now you're down here, okay, with the big major monthly retracement. You're finally oversold. But it is not a trigger until it comes out, which this one did. We actually came out. We got a dot. And that would be the kind of final phase of the bottoming. But again, remember, this spent 3 months doing that consolidation before we could really accelerate, which was at that point going forward. That's what we're looking for. In the same way, and I'll even, be focusing on that exact date. Bitcoin's going to want to follow this. If this is the secret sauce to Bitcoin, that they're following this crazy cycle, well, I'm going to try it. And I will wait till October. I'd certainly get ready when we hit the 786. But come October, if we're day 364, yeah, start taking massive leverage longs as long as I've got those other signals. Final piece, okay, that is going to be massive for us. Where would the real acceleration occur? When we get the dot, which is that second month. So understand, even though it was a couple $1,000 higher, the real acceleration for the signal, for the cycle, it occurred 3 months later. We get the dot, we get the retest, then we go. And look, where's the 50 level? Again, within this chart, the 50 level hits right there on the dot. That's how we'll line it up. We have to have clear readings on it. Final piece, amplified on the monthly. Hey, we're poking above the 50. That tells you we're ready to go. All right. If we're going to compare that to where we are currently, we're basically here. I would say on the comparative kind of chart from 2022, you're about 40K needing to go to 15 or 20K. 67K, go to 36K, 35K, and do it all by October. And the other thing that has happened multiple times, well, every time we had monthly HSI. And there, go back to 2018, same kind of a thing. We hit the 786 of that cycle there, and then we had the dot 3 months later. Maybe that's the secret with Bitcoin. Maybe that's why these guys that are in the know programmed it like this. Think about it. Every time, every cycle has followed this. Why not do it again? That's why all this other stuff that, we see time and time again, it confounds me that people are ignoring this or they want to ignore this. And then where's our 786s? Hold on. Bring that back up. And then the final, I'm going to put this link in the chat once I find it, just so you guys know. Here it is. Yeah, this is, well, that's the 786 measured. And hold on. Where are my 786? There you go. And this is the chart. This is the post I think I should pin to the top. Look, every one. And for a lot of you, this is a repeat, but more of a reinforcement. You know, the original cycle, even though it went past the 786, it's still a 786. The key, HSI. That's our proprietary signal. Again, 786, arrow, dot, then acceleration. That's 2015. 2019, arrow, dot, go. Even though that was a little bit of a delay. 2023, I think that's the example we're following. This cycle might be even faster. And then again, that was what? This is another one on the 14th. Why wouldn't we do that? I mean, you'd have to really grab at straws not to pay attention to these precedents. They're all repeating over and over again. Crazy or what? Be aware of it, guys. You know, I'm all about levels. I really think the levels, understanding price levels, how they repeat is critical. Understanding direction and opportunity. Right now, the Bitcoin opportunity is on the completion of this other 786. If you want to short it, great. Some people did short it, made a shitload of money. I don't even want to be involved. I just want to wait for that. I'll come back to this. You know, we will check in time and time again, but this does not change. Final one that in terms of just clearing the air for Ethereum, because a lot of people are saying, oh, Ethereum's the next one that's going to go. You're missing out on an opportunity. You're stupid for not buying it. You're a coward. All of that. I'm just going to bring it back to here. Again, every bottom, every one, guys, on Ethereum was not a bottom until we had arrow dot, arrow dot, arrow dot on the bullish side. There's an arrow. We're going to need 2 more weeks to get a dot. And if anything, we are back in the oversold again. So this makes it a double test. So this kind of starts the whole process over, where Ethereum is going to need at least 3 more weeks or more beyond what you're seeing currently before that would even be a trigger. It's a lot like, here we go again with the 2022 signal, but one arrow, and then we're going to get a second arrow, and we're going to need a couple of weeks. Just, I want to bring the receipts here. Okay, super clear. Pretty crazy that I've been calling for 39K for a while, but it's playing out, and nothing, you know, in terms of Bitcoin, all right, nothing changes. For Ethereum, I've been looking at like 1900 for a while, but that could even be as low as 15 or 12, depending on where this comes together. 1 or 2 more. Just kind of put this to rest. Solana. I know it bounced. Everyone was congratulating themselves. What's the problem? The candles. Flat out candles. There's no green here. There's very little green in the way of even a rebound rally since the Type 2. And you go back. Where are we? Oh, we need to be on coin. We need to be on Binance. All right. We have this looping Type 2, 4751. And no dot, nothing. You know, a couple people asked me about Solana or Doge or a few others. And I just shows you that until we got a dot, and I've done it that way on purpose, kind of dumb down the whole signal process. All right, until we get a dot, I'm not interested in it. What are the possibilities? Yeah, 4750. I said that a long time ago that if we broke 105, that we would shoot this gap, and we're doing it. It's just the weekly charts take time. Hold on one second. So I know we've had a whole bunch of new people, new crypto people, and I want to welcome everybody. You got to get over to harmonictrader.com because a lot of people are like, how'd you come up with the numbers? And the easiest place to start is to simply review the books, review the ratios. So go over to harmonictrader.com, become a basic member, and yes, get the software. Send your TradingView username to hpc at sr-analyst.com. Learn the framework. All we're doing, guys, is laying over the laddered ratios. Okay, the framework of ratios, because that's how it works. We look for a 382, okay, all the way down to an 886. This is certainly an 886 reset in motion. And the type 2, type 1 reaction, all last year, this is how we laid it out. Type 1, back, and then 2 for the return. And then ever since the type 2, we've been looking for target 2 and a yellow dot. Nothing is there yet. You've completed in terms of price the type 2, but beyond that, you still need development. And I'm feeling like, come on back down. What's going to happen is we're looking at HSI. That's back in the oversold. Never a good look. Never a good look there. Just it's going to take at least 3-4 more weeks at these levels. The last one, so it's pretty amazing what I see online. It's maybe one of the greatest coordinated marketing efforts I've ever seen regarding an asset where XRP, every time it goes down 10%, I see more positive news than the week before. This is what you're looking at. Okay, XRP failed us miserably at least 6 months ago. The breakdown, the crazy candle wick, but the breakdown at 270 really killed all possibilities for some kind of blow-off move. And now, since then, if you're looking at XRP, claiming it's going to be the next crypto, I don't know where they come up with it, but people come out and say XRP is going to $50 or $100 by next year. Highly improbable. I don't care what the asset you're looking at, unless maybe it's some kind of option play. Not a chance. Okay? And if anything, you would need a signal to turn this ship around. You got anything? Nothing. Nothing at all. The obvious pattern is a retest down here at 31 cents. I won't be that crazy, but I'm firmly in the camp of this being an 886 reset. That's 65 cents. And that's where that goes. Currently 147. I've been saying the same thing since about 250. So this is my point. Do the measurement yourself. Okay? Do your own analysis. Whether it's all harmonic, hybrid, flip a coin, I don't care. But for God's sakes, stop listening to these people that say XRP to $10 or $30 or $100. That's all to get you distracted from the obvious. And the obvious is still further down until we can trigger either a full retest, oversold confirmation. It's just not there. It's not there. And I would say the same thing if this was a tech stock. Gold stock, any stock. Okay, the way I'd read that is big, fantastic parabolic move, or more like just a 1618. That was this, there to there, 1618, there, off the pattern. And I was slightly above $3. 1618, okay, reaction, type 2 retest, come on down. We could look at that as a type 1, type 2 as well. Pretty interesting stuff. You know, your C point was there at a 50, and then D was like that. Reaction, reversal, yep. And then even, where's this all-time 618? I think we're beyond it. Yeah, we're way beyond it. It's just all-time 618 was there. 155. I've never seen so much bullish talk about a busted uptrend. And until then, no. And until then, I'm actually going to be really happy once we see this crack $1, and then we get down to, I think 65 cents is it's a minimum target. Turn it all off, folks. Measure for yourself. Think for yourself. Okay? Let's take a couple of requests and keep it chill. Yeah, they have paid ads. That's hilarious. What's up, Aquanaut? Great to see you. Is this new stuff for you guys? Kind of looking for some reaction here. What is clicking with you guys? Is it the ratios? Is it the repeating cycles over 10 or 15 years? Is it the confirmation? Again, I know there's a lot of crypto bulls that are still in this crew. Maybe you are bullish on Bitcoin, and maybe Bitcoin will survive, but in the short term, we have to go through this. It's like a mechanical kind of process. You have to do the retrace. And a lot of it depends on what happened looking left. I don't know. Last one on crypto would be like the total indices. Total or others. And that's got nothing. Got nothing. If anything, 786 minimum gets you to 1.5. And zero oversold. Confirmation yet. We're back in that extreme. And so again, you're weeks away. What's up, Jack? Jack saying it's crypto. I think most of it is crypto. And it's amazing that you have $2.3 trillion still in this sector. I just, to me, seems like a big psyop. Seems like it's a program psyop to separate people from their money by calling them cowards, calling them poor. Like Michael Saylor, if you don't have Bitcoin, you're poor. Well, how'd that go in the last 3 months? I don't personally, I don't like that. Personally, I think when people say stuff like that, they are ignorant. Why? Hey, you want to be rich with Bitcoin? Great, go be rich. But don't shit talk other people because they're not doing what you're doing. Just say everybody's poor because you don't have Bitcoin, yet the whole time you said it, we're now 50% off of that poor comment. And the rest of it, sorry. You guys remember when I talked about Swift, and that was back in October, and it was a really interesting conversation that I had. somebody that's working on the project for Swift for their digital currency. And this whole notion that Swift is going to give away their business to XRP or anyone else is kind of a joke. Just be aware of that. You know, your 2 trillion total crypto market cap, you can put 2 or 3 banks together and get that. JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, there's your 2 trillion. So don't fall for the narrative, please. Do your own research, measure the market, and for God's sakes, think for yourself. Let's look at a couple. You guys have some good, really good symbols. Let's take a look here. What's up, Codes Mode wants to look at oil. Isn't that Triton Energy? Oil India. Is that the right one? Oil India Limited? Thought that was Triton Energy. Maybe in the old times. It's been a while. I don't know. Are you sure it's not OIH maybe? Don't know. I'll look at XLE. Let's start there. XLE. Look at that. Look at the breakout. Interesting. Wow. Remember this? Remember that when oil went negative, XLE was 11 at the COVID low? Well, your all-time new highs, you're at a hop level at 54.51. No confirmation, though. That looks like a good chart. At least higher in the short term. Yeah, the hop level at 54.32. Want to watch that. I don't have perfect example of a really ideal harmonic level. No confirmation up here. Not yet. So 54.50-ish. That's a big level to look at. Let's see what happens from that point forward. Weekly's overbought. So don't fall for it just yet. We might get an oversold arrow. Maybe this week or next week. And then roll over. It's been sideways. I mean, 4 years here. It's pretty amazing. Not much. No, finally we wake up and get going. A lot of the oil stocks, you know, the big ones like Chevron, they're up here, all-time new highs. But they have these crazy patterns. No confirmation on this retest. But I'm respecting that. I'm not, you know, I'm not going to completely say this is ready to break out just yet. 175. You guys know I like, if you're going to go energy, you got to go Valero. Valero is like my number one energy play because I'm a big believer that you're always going to need refining capacity. So a little overstretched at the moment, but you know, Valero, you can just ride it on that uptrend for the next 5 years or more. Wait for that to come back. Valero, Marathon Petroleum, MPC. I think those are the plays. Yeah, MPC, yeah, right back up. Keep on rocking. What was the other one? ConocoPhillips, COP. If you want energy, get some refiners. Oh, come on, hold on. Here we go. ConocoPhillips, currently 108. Where's yeah, the daily's a little overstretched with the deep crab, but I kind of like the setup because we know we're in an aggressive uptrend. And this is a great situation where bearish pattern, all right, great. I'm not thinking it's end all be all. I'm just thinking it's a type 1. Software kicks it out. T1, there's a dot. Can we get a T1 reaction down to target 1? That would be the expected move. So like 108 to 99. And maybe in like 2 or 3 months. 30 days, something like that. We get oversold, and then this would serve as a launch for the continuation higher. I like that. Again, half the battle is just lining up these retraces, waiting for them, let them come to you, and then go. A couple others. On what was that, Victoria? On the XLE? Let me know. A couple other ones. REI. What is that? Real estate trust? Ring Energy. Ring Energy 128. All right, same deal. Penny stock. But I'm going to say the same thing. What is it? It's a pattern. It's actually a type 2 off of that one. You got a low floater here. All right, you're at $1. And if you go back, look at the chart, it's probably going to be absolute devastation. Yeah, so you're scratching down here at $1, you're scratching potential bankruptcy. So this would have to work. Let me look at the weekly chart. You know, a spec play, unless you know something you want to share with the audience. Some kind of secret insider buy information. I would still look at this the same way. Hop level 128, bearish dot. You may be bullish on this. You might have it, like I said, some secret sauce on why this thing is going to go. Maybe Pelosi just bought this. I don't know. I would still wait for the reaction down. Just like we did on the last pattern. Target 1, type 1, target 1. You got the reaction down. Where was the confirmation? Like 86. Target 1 was $1. And then we launched it back. I would say the same thing. Had the big push, let it come back in, and then that would be the next move. I think there are better plays than bottom fishing a low floater. PSKY. Paramount Skydance. Wait a minute. I thought these guys went private. I thought this went private. Or was that Warner Brothers? Well, what do we have here? A damn nice bullish bat. Let's break down the zone. This is fat. Who put that up? What's up, baby genius? You are a genius today. Do you have the software? Because that's the only way you could really have it with all of this juiciness. Look. T1 is at 11.19. Confirmation 10.83. So you're up today 6%. You're thinking that is the absolute low. I think this is like Warner Brothers Discovery was the other one. Are we above the 50 level? Oh yeah, this has got it all. Well done. PSKY, Paramount Skydance. Can we get to 14? I think so. 14 is now the play. That's a really nice setup right there. What about the weekly? All right, weekly, not as nice. I mean, you got a daily pattern down here. The only problem, you're scraping all-time new lows. Maybe not all-time, but recent lows. But this is an interesting, I think we've looked at this before. But pattern looking left, that certainly matters. It was a crab pattern. Came all the way back down. Guys, definition of looping. This is what a looping type 2 looks like. You get T1 to target 1. It blasts all the way through, but then rolls over and starts, come on back, come on back. So up here, you're rolling over or even down in here, and it's obvious where it's going to go. You're up here at 35. You know you have a pattern at 19, 18.99. T2 goes on. Okay, not the healthiest type. So similar deal. Paramount, that might have been the best thing for them not to buy out. PSKY. I like that. All right, that's now going to be in the conversation because of everything going on there, weekly and daily. Great stuff. What else do we got? What's going on? Foundation. Uh-oh. Testing. What's going on? Guys, are we here? Give me some chatter in the chat. Some people are saying they lost sound. Hold on. All right, thanks. I don't know. Did I lose sound for a second? Let me know. All right, thank you. I just saw, I'm trying to catch up on this. A couple other ones. Strange. IBM. What's up, Floyd? IBM got the snot kicked out of it last week. That is a good thing. Okay, huge up move. I'm waiting for next arrow on the weekly like that or there or there. Again, another great stock. I think IBM is something where you're just waiting for the next oversold daily dot. Are we there yet? No. Close. Hold on. Let this get oversold. It's probably somewhere around 250. Hold on one second. And this would be another one. Okay, one of these longer term. This is like same category as Walmart, Caterpillar, Cisco. Cisco got crushed too, but these are starting to open up opportunities. How many dots? How many arrows? Again, go back the last 2 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to get another one, 8. Every one was good for close to a 50% move. Maybe not so much there, but 220 to 300, 240 to 320. You guys get the picture. This is exactly the setup. It's trending. It has sustained its gains, okay? You're on the long-term uptrend. The only thing needs to happen, get oversold. It's not there yet, but another week or two, we'll get it. So I like it. I think that's yet another one. A couple others. Rivian. We talked about that last week because it finally hit target 2 and then jumped up. It was up like $3, back down today. I think you're now going to start looking at Rivian because last week was the first shot across the bow since the retrace, and we've been looking at the retrace on Rivian since 21. And we bottomed perfectly. 1377 was the objective. We got the arrow last week. So early stages, guys. You're 17 and change right now. Confirmation on the daily was like $15. So I like what's going on there now. Really, where are we with the daily? The daily, weekly. Okay, weekly was not above the 50 level just yet. I think we're going to get there pretty quickly. That, for me, would set it in motion. HSI above the 50. And we go back to 21. Retest that pattern. So that's an interesting recovery play. I think you can start looking at it. I've been kind of had it on the side for months. Now, I think after last week, we can start angling for a spot. I think it's either 15 bucks, 16 bucks, looking for that re-entry. Couple more. Hey, Floyd. Thank you for that. Yep. Small buffer. I can't believe this. Hold on. Let me see what I'm on here. Yeah, I'm on my fastest setup. Anyway, let me come back to that. You got it. Couple more. Yeah. DraftKings. Point. You know, where's the obvious trend line break? There or there? I'd say it's probably like there. You know, we could even go there. But the whole looping possibility, yeah, really starts maybe on that violation, and certainly 17 bucks. Take it down. 17 plus confirmation. This happens a lot. I think there's some things that, you know, some of the kind of the secret, not really secret, but you know what I'm saying, the kind of in-between relationships, things that I've noticed through the years that happen in general. This looping situation is something to pay attention to. You get these moves, like real aggressive type ones. Okay, they can't continue. They certainly fail target 2 is another key aspect of it, but then it starts to roll over. I'll show you one that I'm looking at right now. Urban Outfitters. Okay, beautiful trend. On the daily, we've got this. Great bat pattern. Okay, where's it going? Where is it going? You had perfect confirmation. Arrow dot diamond, 61 bucks. Blast to 82, but can't continue. We roll over. And now I'm thinking 61 retest. I mean, really, we take out these lows at 66, 61, it will happen in a heartbeat. But that would satisfy the retest that has to happen and be the more definitive kind of back test within the uptrend to then get you going. That is a looping situation. Same deal with Bitcoin. Okay, it's not really personal. It's all about the price action. Different price action types. Doc, that's got to be you. Is it a connection thing, guys? I have no idea why that connection is. Are we buffering? Let me know what's going on. I thought we were fine. You have to exit and come back to get sound. Don't know. CEO selling shares like crazy. All right, well, that makes sense. Come all the way back to 61. Okay. Let me know, guys. I've done everything I can do in the last 2 months, 3 months to make sure that we're good stream. I really